Hello everyone, Victor Tanzig here, and welcome to the Reddit Railway. Today's destination is r/JustNoMil, which is the second part to this video. If you haven't seen that yet, go watch it now. Otherwise, all aboard! I've gotten a lot of messages asking why I played along with the mother-in-law instead of calling her out. It's because there's a protocol we have to follow. Apparently, this isn't the first time someone tried to change an order that wasn't theirs, but this is my first time dealing with such a situation. I was also concerned she was going to cause a scene. This may be a small job in a bakery, but I take pride in it, and I refuse to let an entitled bitch ruin things for our customers and staff. Okay, on to the update. My manager came in shortly after my lunch break. She told me to give the daughter-in-law a call. Mother-in-law came in shortly after, and my manager took her into her office. I called the daughter-in-law and explained what happened. She asked me directly if I recognized the woman, and I answered honestly. Right away, she said she was coming in. Mother-in-law was still in the manager's office when daughter-in-law and future husband arrived. Future husband looks furious, and daughter-in-law is close to tears. I leave them with some hot chocolate and donuts while I let my manager know they're here. She asked me to bring them in along with Counter Girl. Inside the office, mother-in-law is looking rather smug until she sees future husband. She turns white as a sheet. "Mum, what are you doing here?" Mother-in-law starts answering in a different language. I forgot to mention she had a very distinct accent, one future husband and daughter-in-law didn't have. "Mum, no. Speak English. Daughter-in-law doesn't speak our language and you know it. You are being rude. What are you doing here?" "I was just asking about the cake and these girls were so unhelpful. You should find another bakery. This place is no good." My manager chimes in. "Actually, OP and Counter Girl were following the rules. We explained to you that no changes can be made without a passcode or ID, and you refused to provide either." This was when daughter-in-law jumped in. "I knew you tried to change the cake. We told you over and over that we want a small wedding." "You want a small wedding. Future husband wants a big celebration." "No, I don't. We agreed on a small wedding because that's what we both want." "Don't talk to me like that. I deserve respect." My manager intercedes. "I'm sorry, but this is not the place for this. Daughter-in-law, future husband, this is the information you gave for cake size and design. Is this correct?" The manager hands them the paperwork. They both say yes. "Very good. Daughter-in-law, your name is on the deposit, so I want to reassure you again that no changes will be made without your ID. I'm sorry to say that I am no longer comfortable using the passcode you gave." Mother-in-law starts muttering in a different language. Future husband tells her to stop, and mother-in-law gets all teary-eyed. The daughter-in-law says, "I understand. Thank you so much, and I am so sorry for all the trouble." Manager, "It's no trouble at all. I also have to insist that mother-in-law no longer accompanies you to any future appointments. Due to her treatment of my employees, she is no longer welcome on the premises." Mother-in-law starts to sniffle. The future husband says, "That's not a problem. Mum, stop it. You raised me better, so I know you know better." Mother-in-law starts talking in a different language. Future husband tells her in English that she owes us an apology. She snaps something back in her language, gathers her purse and leaves without another word. Daughter-in-law looks like she's about to cry, and future husband hugs her. I hear him apologize for doubting her. My manager asks if they need a moment, and they say no. They apologize again for mother-in-law. Counter Girl and I are told to go back to work. The couple seemed okay when they left, and the owner gave them a 5% discount on their cake for their suffering. Mother-in-law is banned. If she shows up, we are to ask her to leave and call my manager if she's in, or the police if she isn't. Update 5. Since we've been short-staffed lately, I've been working a lot of night shifts, 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. I mostly clean, do prep work, organize paperwork, bake, etc. When I work late, I keep the front lights off and the doors locked. I also park along a well-lit side street for safety reasons, and since our kitchen is off to the left, you can't see the lights unless you are right up against the front door. This is important. Basically, the bakery looks deserted. It's usually really quiet when I work these hours until about 6 a.m. when people start lining up for the breakfast rush. So when the phone rang at 4, I ignored it. My manager and co-workers have my number and we usually communicate via text. My job is to prep for the morning and we have an answering machine. The phone rings again at 4:05, then 4:10, 4:15 and 4:20. I'm elbow deep in dough and getting annoyed at the interruptions. The calls keep coming 5 minutes apart. At 5 a.m, I snap and answer. "Good morning, OP speaking. How can I help you?" "Finally, I've been calling for over an hour. Why didn't you answer?" "Never mind. I need to speak to someone in charge immediately." "That fucking accent, I think. Okay, don't jump to conclusions. It might be someone else with the same accent. I apologize, ma'am, but we are closed at the moment, so... No, don't lie. You are not closed. I am very sorry, ma'am, but we are. Our hours are X to Y. Someone will be available to help you then. No, that's no good. Everyone who works there is unprofessional and bad. You're going to help me. I need information on daughter-in-law's cake. Fuck this bitch. Ma'am, we are closed. I cannot help you with anything right now. Our hours are X to Y. If you would like to call back then... No, I need help now. I know you're open. I can see the lights are on. I'm going through some shit right now that has turned me into an anxious mess most of the time. The only way this woman could see the kitchen light is on is if she's at the front door with her face pressed against the glass. I freak the fuck out. I hang up and proceed to have a panic attack over the sourdough. The phone rings 2 more times before going blissfully silent. I text a warning to the manager and co-workers who are scheduled to come in and help me open. My co-worker replies with a few emojis and a "what the fuck?" My manager calls to say she's on her way and tells me to stay inside. My manager got there about 15 minutes later and there was no one on the property but me. There were about 20 or so cigarette butts right outside the door, which I had swept the night before. We immediately think mother-in-law was camping out for a good while. My manager decides right then that we're no longer allowed to open or prep alone, and there have to be at least 2 people on shift at all times. She also left a message for the owner and daughter-in-law about what happened, but my shift ended before either one of them called back, so I don't know if anything came of those calls. Update 6. After crazy mother-in-law decided to scare the shit out of me with her creepy lurking, the owner had enough. Apparently, she'd called the couple, explained what happened, and told them she was going to call the police the next time mother-in-law showed up. She said she would understand if they switched bakeries, and she would refund their deposit, no problem, but she would not allow her employees to be harassed or scared. Daughter-in-law apologized for mother-in-law's actions and assured her there would be a conversation about her behavior. Daughter-in-law didn't want to switch bakeries because both she and future husband were impressed with the professionalism and safety given to the cake. They also supported the owner's decision to call the police. I understand future husband did waver a bit on this point, but he got on board when the owner offered again to refund their deposit. I wish I could say everything worked out after that, but it wouldn't be JustNoMil if it had. After learning she was banned from the bakery and the police would be called if she returned, mother-in-law started calling us at random. Our new line when she calls to make changes is, "I'm sorry, we no longer make changes on cakes of this magnitude over the phone. Please come in during business hours so we can assist you." It doesn't stop her though. The conversation is always the same. We answer and she gives us the daughter-in-law's name. She then asks when her next appointment is or tells us to make changes. We tell her we can't give out that information and give her the aforementioned line. When she asks to speak to someone in charge, we put her on hold and she hangs up. A while later, she'll call back to try again. All this over a fucking cake. Jesus wept. What a clusterfuck of a human being. I don't know how the husband can say she raised him better when she's acting like this. Regarding the husband, I'm glad he's starting to show some spine, and well done to the bride for continuing to stand up to her, likewise to OP and her manager. It's so refreshing to hear when management has their employees back. Like I said last time, mother-in-law is clearly unhinged. Lurking outside a bakery in the wee hours of the morning? That's bloody terrifying. I would ask what this woman is thinking, but I don't want to know what's going on inside that demented head of hers, and I suspect this is going to get a whole lot worse. Yes, there are more updates, which I'll cover next time. And with that, I'll end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.